Right. And with that, that is the perfect time to go ahead and kick things off. So welcome everybody to our sixth episode, sixth installment of the Wednesday webinar. Oops, I thought I had paused that. Um, so I'm going to turn it over to our featured speakers in just a moment. As you can see on the screen, we have Lindsey, Cain, and Vonda Martin joining us today, and they're going to talk about connecting, and that is connecting, integrating within your school, but also really engaging and connecting with those community partners and establishing those partnerships to really leverage the center. And so they've got a PowerPoint that they're going to be sharing, and we are anticipating one or two breakout sessions after that, so please stick around. But before I turn off my screen, let me quickly click over here. So a quick reminder that we are doing these every 2 weeks, which means that the next Wednesday webinar is going to be really close to Thanksgiving. It's going to be right in the middle of Fall Institute. And so in 2 weeks, there will not be a Wednesday webinar. But let me quickly put in a plug for Fall Institute. Fall Institute will have two separate breakout networking sessions. One's going to completely revolve around advisory councils, and the other one is going to be very much what we've been talking about on the Wednesdays of how are we doing things differently this year and what is working and what's not working and where are we struggling. And so there will be a technological component as well as a few others. So tune in for those, but those will be part of the Fall Institute. The Wednesday webinar will pick up on Wednesday, December the 2nd. So that's going to be 4 weeks from today, after the Thanksgiving holiday. And we have a special treat, and please spread this word through your districts to other coordinators throughout your region, that the next session is going to be a session on evaluation and designing surveys to get good data, to help with impact reports. And it's going to be brought to you, it's going to be a formal training, and it's going to be a partnership with some of your RPMs and some of our division Frisk staff. And there is going to be 1 hour of pre-approved credit for that. So tell everybody to tune in, and we're going to experiment with a slightly different format. There will be breakout pieces still of that. So please, please, please put it on your calendars and plan on tuning in on December 2nd for the evaluation webinar. We'll pick back up and resume every 2 weeks from there. All right, so that's it for official announcements, and hopefully we've got some folks tuning in. And so I see about 30 of you online, so that's great. And so I'm gonna turn off my share here and turn it over to our presenters today. All right, so Lindsey and Vonda, the stage is all yours. Take it away. Thank you so much for being here, by the way.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Vonda Martin. I'm a coordinator with the Youth Service Center at Spencer County Middle School and Spencer County High School.
And I'm Lindsey Cain, and I am the Family Resource Center coordinator at Spencer County Elementary and Taylorsville Elementary in Spencer County.
We recently switched regions, and Andrea came to visit, and just in visiting with Andrea and talking, she ended up giving us a call and just asked us to kind of talk about community collaborations and partnerships. So that's kind of how this presentation came about. I know these probably a lot of things we talk about are things that possibly you already do in your center, or things that already go on just different places. But anyway, we hope to share some ideas with you today.
Yeah, and even though we're a small county, we do feel like some of the things that we do can be replicated if you are in a larger populated region, but maybe like narrowing it down to like zip codes or geographic areas.
I will give you a little glimpse of Spencer County. We are more of a rural county. We are a neighbor to Jefferson County, which is Louisville. We have a population of about 17,000 in our county, and we really don't have a lot of industries in our county. The largest employer here is our school district. So most people here, or the people that live here, actually most work in the counties around us, which, like I said, are Jefferson, Shelby, Bullitt, Nelson. But so a lot of what we're doing without a lot of industry is we reach out to, you'll see kind of local groups, churches take care of us in a lot of ways. other agencies that we partner with. So I think you'll hear some familiar themes as we're talking about kind of the support we get here.
So now we're going to try to share our presentation. Be patient with us. We will do our best here. So I think I want to share my screen. This one. Share. Oh. There we go.
Perfect.
All righty. So we ready?
Mm-hmm. Okay, these are just a few things. One thing that we mentioned were how we're embedded or integrated into the schools. And then in a little bit, we'll kind of talk about community. But being in the schools, like I said, there's only 4 schools in our district. I serve the middle school and the high school, and Lindsey serves both elementaries. So it makes it very easy for us to work together as well as the agencies that serve Spencer County. But some things, of course, parent nights, relationship check-ins, and I'll touch on that a little bit with some of our administrative meetings.
We found out that even though that we have a good handle on what we do, often teachers forget the things that we do or that are available to them because they're so tied up and bogged down with instruction. So we found that reminding our teachers via email from time to time of things that we have to offer really lets them know, again, what we have. And they'll say, oh, yeah, I've got a kid that needs that. Like, for example, I had a bunch of earbuds in my office and nobody was asking me for them. And I was like, why is nobody asking me? So I sent out an email, and within like 10 minutes, I had 30 requests for earbuds. So sometimes it's a matter of just reminding them of the things that you can do.
And then just sponsoring different clubs in the building. We are extremely blessed. We've had an after-school program at the middle school for quite some time now. And you will hear more about that in a moment. But just sponsoring some of the clubs. I know I've done the community service club with them. I've done a girls club with them. We also sponsor Sources of Strength. And then the same with the high school. The high school has different club days. So on the different club days for a while, we've done a variety of things over the years. Some have been like, we helped start future educators, future firefighters, when some of those clubs have kind of died out over the years. It helps meet our career component, but we're also able to have people come in and talk about the opportunities in those career fields. Again, Sources of Strength, community service are some great ways to go. Just leadership opportunities in general. We do SAG clubs, Students Against Destructive Decisions. So it gets students involved with what we do. And a lot of times those clubs and groups end up helping us out when we have needs for families.
And for the majority of our presentation, what you guys will see is not so much of us talking, but we thought it would be much more beneficial to invite some of our partners to make videos and talk to you all about the ways that we work together.
We do have a couple flyers up here we want to share. Back in September, of course, we were still, in the midst of COVID, but we were able to host a family night. We did this at our middle school, which is located right next to our elementary, which made it nice. It was for all ages, but our partners for it included our 21st Century grants at the middle school, the high school, and the TES. Then it also included the extension office, as well as the 7 counties prevention.
All right, do you want to intro this? So one thing that we have been doing with our middle school kids is, it was the brainchild of the lady that you're getting ready to hear from, one of the assistant principals, but it's relationship check-ins. And one way that we were able to collaborate on that is when she was doing the meetings with the 6th grade students, since they didn't really know them yet, they would invite me to come over and talk to them about the 6th grade students. And then Vonda would come down and help give input on best ways to serve the 7th and 8th grade students. So
she actually started these a couple years ago, Miss Demian did, but it was just a great way for her to meet with the teachers during their PLCs and find out not just what kids were struggling, but even what kids were doing well, but also the ones that had extra needs. She invited Frisk to be there. She invited the school nurse. And that way we know more about our students, and then they're able to ask us right then, what ways can you all help this family?
So now we will hear from her.
Oh, okay. There's one more little catch. If you want to pause that.
Uh-huh.
When you're sharing the screen, you have to enable share computer audio. So if you go to that kind of like green and black bar where you're
Uh-huh.
sharing the little 3 dots, about 4 or 5 down, it'll say share computer sound.
Well, thanks for your patience, guys.
All right, where is it? Okay, I see the green thing. Oh, here.
And then
Computer
you should be able,
sound.
yep, share computer sound. And then when you click on the link, we should be able to hear it.
Good morning.
Yes.
I'm Erin Demian. I'm one of the
Good job.
assistant principals at Spencer County Middle School. And I also work really close with our Family Resource Center. Actually, the whole front office and the admin team works really close with our Family Resource Center. I'm a firm believer in the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. And I'm so happy to have the Family Resource Center folks that we have. Without it, our community, our school community, our students, our parents, our families would suffer greatly without their help. They're amazing every day, but I want to brag on just a minute on what happened in March. As everyone knows, COVID hit and we were quarantined. And for 6 months, some of us didn't lay eyes on our students, and they were our frontline workers. They were our eyes and our ears that we could help while they went to doors, delivered food, and checking on the most vulnerable families that we couldn't lay eyes on. Outside of COVID and quarantine, they are a vital resource for us. At any given time, I might call and ask for school supplies for so-and-so. Since we're a hybrid and we only see students sometimes 2 days a week, we have some home visits that are needed, and they step up to the plate and go check on those kiddos for us. On a regular basis, they work with our after-school program. They have a community service group. They know how important it is to give back to the community that they're in. And they are great supporters and good mentors for our students. They've also taken on Sources of Strength, which is a mentoring program to teach leaders how to lead in the right way and to help students and their friends to get through hard times. They've worked with the high school to get high school mentors to help with our boys and girls who struggle and they need a good role model. Like I said, it takes a village, and I thank God that we have the Family Resource Center that we do. They are amazing, and we appreciate them.
Okay, we definitely agree. Like she keeps saying, it takes a village, and I think we all recognize and realize that. And we are just so appreciative for the administrative teams that we have at our schools, because they reach out to us, but it definitely works both ways. Like we know we can look them up when we have issues with students, and it's such a team approach when we know we have students with needs. I know she mentioned COVID, and I'm sure everyone was out helping and doing what they could during COVID, but I just loved it when we started realizing that our bus drivers were having trouble, and cafeteria ladies, it was so much to try to get food around early on. We started reaching out and saying, hey, we'll take these pockets, we'll take these areas. And I had administrators and principals and teachers just coming to us saying, hey, we can help, what can we do? And so I think she definitely nails it in talking about it takes a village and a team approach. Like I said, her relationship check-ins, I think, have been just vital. Just making sure students don't fall through the cracks. Like I said, it's not just us at the table with her. She's meeting with other members of our staff that offer help in different ways to make sure that the needs are met. And then I know she mentioned Sources of Strength, and I feel like most people are familiar with that. It's a program that I'm just love because it is so positive and it builds on the strengths that are around us. But like I said, we've had administrators that are trained to help with us with Sources of Strength, guidance counselors, other teachers, our extension office personnel. So again, they're just all willing to jump right in. I know she mentioned our high school, which again, it makes it nice because all of our schools are in very close proximity. But the last few years, we have had high school students, young ladies, come over and do a mentoring group for our middle school girls. And our students they respond so well to the high school students because they look up to them. They want to be like them. So it's just nice to have that link where our students at the high school have the freedom to come over and share and help at our middle school as well.
All right. So next we're going to hear a little bit from one of our 21st century learning programs. We are lucky enough to have this program at 3 schools out in our district. And if you have this program at your school and you have not reached out to the coordinator, I would highly recommend doing that. So many of the things that they are doing are right in line with the things that we are doing with our Family Resource and Youth Service Center grants. And it's just a great way a great group to partner up with to serve even more students that are in need. So here is Candy Webb. She is the new person for our high school grant.
Hi, I'm Candace Miller, and I'm with Spencer County High School, and we offer local middle and high school, and we do homework help, tutoring. We have a variety of clubs, including video games, cooking, all kinds of different things. We also collaborate with the Youth Service Center and have parent involvement nights and drug and alcohol prevention.
Okay, I'm not sure how well you all were able to hear Candy. I know I was having a little trouble here. But like Lindsey just said, we've had our 21st Century Grant at the middle school for several years now. So we've truly been a part of that program. And then we are so excited. This is our first year to have the 21st Century Grant here at our high school. One great thing, and TES has had it for several years now, one of our elementary schools. One great thing about this program, where we are, we don't have public transportation. It makes it challenging for a lot of families to stay after school for different events and activities. But through this grant, they're able to stay after school. They get homework help, which is actually provided by teachers in the building. Then they can do something fun and more enriching, like different clubs. They've had military readiness clubs. They have had Lego robotics, cooking clubs, sewing club, photography, farming club. Some things we have partnered with them on is the Too Good for Drugs program. That's some curriculum we've offered through our middle school for the last few years. We've also done some parent nights with them, and one was with Kentucky State Police and 7 Counties Prevention. And I'm trying to think, we actually have the training coming up, and I cannot think of the name of it at the moment. I saw it posted. Can you think of it? Basically, it's giving parents what to look for and be aware. Hiding in plain sight. We offered that last year at our middle school for middle school and high school students. But again, it's just great partnerships, and hopefully we're just able to help each other out to help our students be more successful.
And they, like Vonda mentioned, they have to do a certain number of like parent involvement nights. And what I've done at the elementary level is I was actually like the speaker for the parent involvement night. So I got the opportunity to go and meet with the parents and kind of explain to them different things that the Family Resource Center was available to do for them. Because a lot of times the kids that you have in this program might be some that are more vulnerable and might have more needs and need to really be aware of what we're doing.
And one other thing is they are at the elementary and middle school, they're also able to hire high school students to work in their programs. So because we have a jobs component, we're able to help refer students to their programs for jobs.
Okay. We do a lot more school collaborations than that, but we just kind of wanted to touch on some of the big things because we really did want to focus this more on our community stuff. So in order to kind of transition from school to community, we do want to talk to you guys a little bit about how we have our advisory council set up.
I do realize that our advisory council may look a little different than advisory councils in other areas. I want to give a little history and background again. Becky Wilson actually started with Frisky program here in Spencer County when Frisky started. She retired 3 years ago, I believe. So she was the only coordinator in our county. At that time, we had 3 schools. And with her advisory council, she kind of set the groundwork and the foundation for us that it was a true community meeting. I know a lot of different communities have different meetings, and that was one thing that we didn't have a specific community meeting. I know like in other counties, I've been to their drug and alcohol coalition meetings, and that might be a large community meeting. But I think she kind of saw it as just bringing everybody to the table, sharing what we do, and then everybody kind of partnering together. So it's really worked for us here, and something we continue to do. So this is actually Mr. Chuck Abel. He's our assistant superintendent in the county, and he's also our district contact. He's going to share a little bit about our advisory council meetings.
Yeah, and before we get to him, we have certain members that are listed on our advisory council membership, but we also have community partners that are not technically voting members that we always invite to share or ask for an agenda space on our agenda. We actually have a section at the end of our agenda that's just for community updates so that they have the opportunity to share what their organization may have to offer, which is helpful to us, but it's also helpful to many of the people who attend our meetings. Now we will get on to Mr. April.
Hello, I'm Chuck Abel, the Assistant Superintendent of Spencer County Schools, and I want to talk to you just briefly about the value that our Family Resource and Youth Service Center brings to our community. Quite frankly, we have a lot of kids that just would not make it without the support and services that these coordinators bring to them on a regular basis. But I know they would agree with me when I say that, you know, this is not a project or a task that we can accomplish by ourselves. And we are so fortunate that our coordinators have such great relationships with community partners, not only here in Spencer County, but across the entire region. And nowhere is this more evident to me than when I attend an advisory council meeting. You know, one of the first things that we always ask that individuals do is kind of go around the table and introduce themselves. And there are oftentimes 30, 40, even 50 people there representing groups, organizations, you know, throughout the entire area. You know, and it truly is a team effort. You know, we cannot help kids here in Spencer County or in any district without the support of our community. You know, one of the greatest characteristics of a successful district and or school is having strong community support. And we're so fortunate here that, you know, we have so many people that are willing to come out and provide resources and their time to help our kids. You know, and again, I think that's the greatest asset that the coordinators and the family resource can bring to a district and our kids, is that ability to build relationships, to bond with those organizations, to reach out and find the resources and to be able to bring those to the kids and the families on a regular basis. It's a team effort. You know, we all have to work together. And I think, again, nowhere is this more evident than through the Family Resource and Youth Service Centers. So to all those individuals out there, please know that Spencer County and all districts, all counties across the state truly appreciate your help in helping our kids be successful. Thank you and have a great day.
All right, so now we're going to move on to some collaborations that we do that we figure everybody probably does similar things, but we just wanted to give some ideas of how we involve the community in some more basic needs types things that we do.
These are some of our food resource options that we have here in our county. Backpack Buddies is something, like we said, so many of you we offer, but we do get a lot of community support for this. We do get some bags from Dare to Care that we appreciate. We have Country Mart, which is the local grocery store here in our community. Last year, or a couple years ago, we actually had 2 high school AmeriCorps workers that partnered and worked with us. They were fabulous. And for one of their senior projects, she decided to do Backpack Buddies. So what they would do is this young lady actually made signs that she placed throughout the store, just saying this would be a nice Backpack Buddy item. And then there's a donation bin at the front of the store so families could buy it, put it in the bin and donate it. We've also had an elementary young lady, her and her mom have taken this on and added it, doing the same thing at our local dollar store. We have several churches that have donation bins for us. We kind of started the donation bins through them during COVID, and it's just continued on, and they provide great support, but again, a way for the community to just drop off food for us. We have one local paper, Spencer Magnet, and each week they run an ad just telling families about Backpack Buddies and how they can donate. So they will call us quite regularly, actually, and just say, hey, we're full down here. You want to come and grab some food? And then, like I said, the clubs and the teams here at the schools, they are looking for ways to get involved. they're looking for ways to help out. And if they know that we have something going on, right now I've got my middle school boys basketball team. They're collecting for Backpack Buddies. My middle school girls basketball team is working on Thanksgiving food baskets. And one thing I mentioned in the beginning was senior projects, I think. I'm not sure if other schools do this or what it looks like, but of course it's changed some with COVID, but our seniors each year have to complete a senior project. And there's some type of service component to this project. So a lot of times they are looking for ideas. So we will kind of throw out different ideas, things we have going on. I know they've helped with school supplies, books for elementary students, food items. So just a variety of different things. Like I said, Beta Club, National Honor Society. These are clubs that are always kind of reaching out saying, what can we help or what do you need help with?
So we also have a lot of organizations that we partner with for different kind of seasonal food programs. We are going to talk about our Christmas and holiday stuff a little bit later on in the presentation. And we'll also hear from Spencer Christian Church a little later in the presentation. But they are a large church in our area that we partner with for food baskets. And we refer families kind of anonymously to them, and they serve our families around Thanksgiving time. And then we also have a program that's called Summer Suppers, and we're going to play you a video.
This is Miss Ashley McGahee. She is actually a teacher at the middle school. And this is an idea that stemmed from several different middle school staff members just talking one day and kind of how it grew. And it's not just one group that does it. It's definitely a community effort.
Hello, my name is Ashley McGahee, and I am a teacher at Spencer County Middle School and also a member of Spencer Christian Church. And I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about community partnerships and how the Youth Service Center has been really key in helping to coordinate community activities. The community activities that I want to focus on are called our Summer Suppers and our Thanksgiving meal. So I'm not exactly sure how the idea started, but suffice it to say, when there's a good idea, Vonda and Stephanie and our other Youth Service Center personnel are always quick to identify it. And so the idea came about that our families needed some type of outreach during the summer, and one of the best ways we knew to do that was to feed people. And so the idea for Summer Suppers grew from this desire to make sure that our families and children had a cool place to go during the summer and to receive a meal and to basically be cared for. And so every Tuesday and Thursday throughout the last several summers, churches and other community groups have basically started to feed people twice a week.
Mr. Howie, please call the front office. Mr. Howie, please call the front office.
So basically, churches either take a specific day of the week, Tuesday or Thursday, or churches sometimes join together and split up the responsibilities. And so we provide a hearty meal, lots of beverages so that everyone is nice and hydrated in those hot summer months, and a nice dessert spread because, you know, what's life without a little dessert? One of my favorite parts of our community summer suppers, is that we have a kickoff supper every year at the beginning of the summer, and all of our churches and community groups who are interested in serving come together and we serve on that day together. And that's such a great way of building fellowship and community with one another, especially because many of us, see each other or work with each other in other capacities, whether it's through the school system or in different businesses or in town. And so it just really helps us to build that community spirit. And so Summer Suppers is not just a way to feed people's, bellies, but it's also a way to feed people's souls. And we really feel like that if people know that you care and that you're here and you're a person and it's a face-to-face interaction, then when people need help and need assistance, they're much more likely to come to the Youth Service Center or to one of our community partners and ask for that help so that their families can be taken care of. So we had so much fun with Summer Suppers that we had the idea, why not expand it to Thanksgiving? So for the past several years, we have hosted a Thanksgiving meal for the community. And not only have community members been invited, but even some of our first responders have been able to come and partake. And all of the churches divide up the responsibilities, and we just have an amazing spread of food and fellowship. And it's decorated beautifully. And so we can all get together just to work together for a common goal. So we have some really impressive people who work very diligently to make sure these suppers happen. And in addition, Taylorsville Community Church offers a fantastic location so that many people can walk if they need to for these meals. And so basically, it's with the entire community and this spirit of fellowship that we work together to make sure our families are taken care of. So summer suppers and Thanksgiving meal are definitely a good thing. And I would say that I would definitely recommend it as a way to basically reach your community and partner with other people within the community who are interested in serving and making sure that our families are taken care of. Thank you.
So we have other food pantries that we work with in our community. This next one, it's just a couple of young ladies that they had an idea to do a pantry because we had ones that had certain days where you could go pick up and ones that had limited number of emergency boxes you could get, but we really didn't have one that was kind of open whenever there was a need. So that's how they got started.
Good morning, we're Serving Hands Food Pantry. I'm Brennan Martin, and my mom is the Youth Service Center Coordinator in Spencer County.
I'm Taylor Gillett, and my parents are the pastor at Taylorsville Community Church.
And throughout COVID, we saw the need and burden that food has on families. So,
We started
and throughout COVID, we had 3 different drop-off locations, one at Spencer Christian Church, one at Taylorsville Community, and one at Country Mart. So we have 2 contacts. You can call my mom or her dad, and we'll get you hooked up with some food and a food box and have you ready to go to try and help with that need.
Okay, I'm not sure if you were able to hear them as well. We were struggling to hear them here. But again, a couple of young ladies in our community, we already had put them to work because I don't know if you heard, one was my daughter and one was the daughter of one of the local ministers here. And we had put them to work helping us make food baskets and food boxes during COVID. And then they started realizing, like Lindsey said, there are a lot of places that have set days and times that you might be able to pick up food during the month, but there's not a place that when you have an emergency, you can just call. So they took that upon themselves and set one up at one of the local churches. That way families know they can just reach out and food will be readily available. This next video is, we did not have like a Goodwill store or any type of store in Spencer County where families could go get household items and clothing items that they needed. We did have dollar store, but like I said, sometimes that was a challenge. So a lot of times we would keep our clothes donated, have our clothes closets in the centers, but we had a kind of a group, again, just kind of start talking about this need. We actually had store space donated by the local bank for several years that we were able to access rent-free until that building actually sold. And then we had a local church donate land. This group did some fundraising and now they've built a building. But because we didn't have a space, we would kind of just keep a notebook. If someone needed a washer and dryer, if they needed a kitchen table or a bed, and then we would try to reach out when others called to say they had something to donate. But during COVID, it's kind of just strictly closed, but it has also worked as far as household items as well. So this is Miss Nicole Jolly with Love My Neighbor.
Love My Neighbor is a ministry in Spencer County that was started as a partnership between churches in the county. Our goal was to fill a need in the county to provide clothing and household items to our neighbors in Spencer County. We didn't have anything out here like that. There was no Goodwill or anything else like that. And so the way we operate is we have, right now we're only carrying clothing and shoes, but under ordinary circumstances, we would have household items too. Neighbors from the community come and donate their things. Everything in the store has a price technically because we have a lot of customers who come in and don't want to be given things for free. They just want to be able to afford things for their families. But if they cannot pay, they don't pay. There's no requirement for proof of income or anything like that. We serve anybody who needs to be served. We can give their families clothing and shoes for the month. They can come in every month and get those things. We also have some special funds that have been started by donations from people in the community. One is to help with rent assistance for people to avoid eviction, that kind of thing. And the other is a coat fund that we partner through the school system with the Family Resource Center and Youth Services Center. And every year in the fall, we are able to purchase coats for kids in the school system that don't have coats and need them.
Okay, and I hope you heard one thing she mentioned is right now they're working on providing coats for us. We're getting them sizes. That came from a separate donation just through Love My Neighbor for this, I believe is the 3rd year for coats. And then they also had a separate donation for just individuals that wanted to help with mortgage or rent assistance a few years ago. And I believe it's about the 3rd year now that we've also continued to get that. We have a key to the store, so we're able to go in if we have a family that needs things and the store's not open, grab what we need for that family. So it's just been a wonderful partnership, and we're glad to have Love My Neighbor.
So the next video we have is a partnership that we did with Northern Lights Mission, which is a group out of Spencer County that they attempt to help people out every year. And for many, many years, they were traveling outside of the region to assist families. Well, a couple of years ago, they came to us and asked if we had kids in need. And one thing that we really saw a need for was that we have kids that they get stuff at the beginning of the school year, and then they get stuff at Christmas, but it gets cold in between that times. And oftentimes we have kids that don't have the clothing that they need to transition into winter, and they really can't wait until their Christmas assistance comes through to be able to have pants that fit them. So this is a partnership that we did with them, and we will play you.
Good morning. My name is Joy Thompson, and I'm a volunteer for Northern Lights Mission. We have been working with youth services for the last 2 years. Each year, our mission group searches for ways to help students K through 12 with fall, winter clothes, and other needs. Being a retired teacher from Spencer County, I was aware of the work that youth services does for our county and region. For the last 2 years, I've contacted Vonda Martin, and together she has provided our group with the information needed to take care of students. YSC requests needed information from parents and then relays that to me. Each student is identified by a number. I then forward to individual churches participating. We have several churches involved in our mission group, and we invite other churches to participate also. We then select a give out day at our local church, and then YSC communicates with parents on how they would pick up those supplies. Last year, we served 110 students. Presently, we are serving around 40 students. We are very proud to be associated with the Youth Service Center, Vonda, Lindsey, and Stephanie.
All right, this is Miss Stephanie Simpson. She's actually a lady that has worked in our district for several years now. I will admit, in full disclosure, about 3 years ago, I swiped her when a position came available for the Youth Service Center. She has been behind a lot of the great ideas that you've already heard about, like the summer suppers, the community Thanksgiving meal, and then you're going to hear about their back to school blessings that they started. A lot of times you'll see people that you work with or that you come in contact with, and you can tell that they have a heart to serve families and meet needs. And like I said, she has generated a lot of these great ideas even before she started working with the Youth Service Center.
4 years ago, a coworker and I started Back to School Blessings with partnership with the Family Resource and Youth Service Center. We provide over 100 students with a backpack, clothes, shoes, and school supplies to start the school year.
Are you guys able to hear the videos?
Just barely.
Just barely. Okay. I'm giving recaps because I'm struggling here, so I didn't know if y'all were struggling.
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt you, but if you I don't know if you're on full screen, but down in the bottom right corner, there's a little speaker icon. If you right click on that, you can open a volume mixer. My guess is that your playback is a little bit low.
Okay, while Lindsay's looking for that,
I don't know. I have to get out of here.
Oh, where'd she go? Like I said, Stephanie, when they started Back to School Blessings, that was one thing we had talked about before as, you know, there's always Christmas assistance. And we'd had somebody mention, you know, it would be nice if you could carry the same child through, like once you adopt a student, and make sure they have back to school items. So they've done a great job of providing backpacks, shoes, a couple of outfits, school supplies. This year we didn't have our normal Ready Fest like we do, but the families that were being served to back to school blessings also came around, and we gave them not only school supplies, but a food basket, and then other important information on resources in the community, things going on at school. So it was more of a drive-through pickup, but it's just a great way to get the families started off with everything they need. No. Okay. All right, moving on to Christmas assistance. It already seems like it's in full swing and we're just getting out of fall. The first gentleman you will see actually works with our Parks and Rec here in Spencer County. Several years ago, we had food baskets coming from our city and our county, and then we decided it'd be easy just to merge everything together. That's one thing we try to do as much as possible. If we can have a central hub, it just seems to make things easier for families to know where to go and for people to reach out that want to help. So what we started doing is working with the city and county. Families call and sign up for when they will pick up their food baskets. And then Adrian's going to tell you a little bit about how many groups are involved here.
I've turned it up as loud as I think I can.
Hello everyone, I'm Adrian Downs with Assistant Park Director of Spencer County Park and Recreations. And I am also a volunteer for food drives. Work with Cram the Cruiser, just feeding the public, making sure everyone has a healthy meal on a daily basis. At our Cram the Cruiser, we try to feed about 200 to 250 families each year at Christmas. During the year, we probably feed another 75 throughout the year, just for people that just don't financially have it. And the people that are responsible for that are Cram the Cruiser is EMT, Fire Department, State Police, Sheriff's Department, City Police. We have the schools, myself, Brian Spencer, the Knights of Columbus. Also, if you're ever in need of anything, let myself and Mrs. Martin know and we'll get you fed. There's nothing worse than having a hungry belly. It's the best feeling in the world to make sure someone has a healthy meal in their belly every day.
Okay, like I said, Adrian is a gentleman that works with our local Parks and Rec department. And for our Christmas food baskets, he mentioned we have EMS, police, fire, local police, state police. They'll set up vehicles at Country Mart to remind families to donate and purchase. The schools, each of the schools does a food drive beginning after Thanksgiving for the Christmas food baskets. Our local Knights of Columbus, they donate perishable items that are purchased the morning that we give out the food baskets, so that hopefully families have everything they need for a lovely Christmas meal. We're going to skip through a couple of the videos since we can tell it is hard to hear. Our next one was on Christmas assistance. And again, it's one church that now takes care of the signups. This is something we used to do ourselves several years ago, and it was very time consuming. And we had a church that was willing to take it over, and we were thrilled to let them have that. But we still partner with them closely by referring families and getting our families taken care of. But they take care of the Christmas assistance signups. They don't cover every child themselves. They work with other churches. They work with teams here. They work with agencies, individuals, shop with a cop. We have a local diner, restaurant, and they sponsor a shopping trip. So again, they might be North Pole hub for Christmas, but it kind of branches out, and it's again a community network there.
We are lucky enough in our district to have 7 counties services in each of our schools, providing school-based mental health counseling for our students. We also had some money that our district received that allowed to pay these professionals to see students that either did not have insurance or carried private insurance that was not taken by 7 county services. I believe now most of them are certified to take private insurance, but that kind of covered the gap for us. We are very grateful to have them. It's a two-way street with them in all of our schools. They come to us whenever their kids have needs. We go to them when we're concerned about a kid that might need to be referred to them, that they would be able to help. So that's just a great partnership to have to really meet the mental health needs of our students.
And these are just a few other needs that we kind of saw in our district. Senior year, that's a milestone for so many. I mean, this is where we wanted to get so many to, but there's a lot of added expenses that come up with senior year. So this is something we talked about for a while. We actually kicked it off last year, and then we went out of school for COVID. But what we were doing was kind of adopt a senior. We set up a separate account with our Board of Education. And like I said, we got some funds. It could have been larger, but we just talked about some of those things that seniors might want and need that they may not get. We already work with Balfour, who's able to help us out when someone needs a cap and gown. But just some milestone moments, like maybe help with prom. We're able to get their attire and their prom dress taken care of because we go to other groups that offer those. But even just help with the prom ticket, because prom is not on site here in our district. I know we were able to buy about 8 students yearbooks last year, and that's just something that they can keep. But again, we're hoping this is something that kind of builds and grows.
So, and we're sure that everyone's had these issues with students not having access to internet with COVID. Again, we are a very rural community, so some of the homes in our community, they actually cannot get internet there. Like, it doesn't go out that far. So we work closely with our schools on ways to try to help problem solve that and get the word out about things that we could do for families to help them get internet access. The schools opened up internet cafes, so we were able to share that information with our families. They could sign up for a time to come in and use the school internet. We worked with families if they had a transportation issue and they could not come get what they needed as far as a computer or a hotspot. We did what we could to assist them in getting those items. We also reached out to our local library and found out that they had hotspots that were available to be checked out. So just really trying to get all that information out there and share it with different families so that they knew what was available. Because one thing we realized in our community, even though we are in a very digital age, that we have a lot of families that are not used to that and they're not ready for that. And so they were missing out on that information and those resources because they weren't getting on and signing up and filling their information out in Google Docs. So it was a lot of us just reaching out to them personally and letting them know what was going on.
And then I know several areas have grandparents raising grandchildren groups. We've been blessed to have one here in our community for quite some time that we help sponsor. We actually meet with them at the local extension office. But this is a great group. We share resources and information with them, but they take care of us as well. For years now, they have taken care of packing our backpack buddies. They've helped with vision screens, just different things that go on in the district, because a lot of them are not working at this stage in their life. So they are readily available to come in and kind of see what our needs are. So it's been a great partnership.
And now we're trying to meet with them on Zoom. And we did have one in-person meeting that we could socially distance at a local park. So that was really nice. And we're trying to figure out a space where we might be able to do the same for a holiday get together. This is another video. Again, we're going to go ahead and skip it. I believe that this presentation or whatever can be made available. Or if anybody wants it, we could email it to you. But this is just one of our larger local churches talking about a number of different collaborations. This is the same church that helps with summer suppers, the Thanksgiving baskets. One year, instead of sponsoring kids for like the angel tree, they said, hey, we know that there's kids that don't have beds out there. Give us a list of kids that need beds. And we'd rather use our money to get the beds than to do the Christmas presents this year.
And they provided the beds, the mattresses, and the bedding to go along with it, and went to homes and if they needed them set up, they would set them up for them. And they've done shoes in the past and they're just always looking for ideas. What can we do to help you?
Okay. So our last slide is some community groups that we are involved in that most regions, I believe, have these. So if you see something on here that you're not involved in, you might want to try to get involved. The Community Early Childhood Collaboration, also called CECC, It's really good for Family Resource Center people. Their focus is early learning and kindergarten readiness. I chair our Spencer County CECC, but everything that I do within that fall within my FIT component, also within my after school component, and with the preschool stuff. So I put a website on there that you can go to, and you can click on your county and find out who the regional chair is for your area. And then you could contact them about trying to join the regional CECC or finding out who your local chairperson is so that you can be a part of those groups. They also work to kind of enrich childcare and preschool as well.
The next thing we have, again, different names for different communities. Ours is our Community Drug and Alcohol Prevention Coalition. It's called Spencer County CAN, Community Action Network, made up of just different agencies. We have students, parents, and basically focused on drug and alcohol prevention. I'm the chairperson currently. Lindsey, I believe, is the secretary. But again, by being part of this group, we're able to share resources, come together with different initiatives. You see in the corner, the picture there, those are couple of this year's MVPs, most valuable peers. They're selected for being good role models to others. And then we post their posters throughout the community, throughout the schools. But we also take these students, like last year during Red Ribbon Week or the last few years, they are the students that have gone into the elementary schools and actually done the elementary schools classroom lessons during Red Ribbon Week. And again, our elementary students look up to these kids, but they're just some amazing young people. I also sit on the Kentucky ASAP board. We get many grants from them for our drug and alcohol prevention activities. Yes grants. Years ago, we had a drug-free communities grant. We've applied for it again. So just different ways. When you find different groups that have the same goal as you, it's a great way to work together.
Mm-hmm. And then there's also the Community Collaboration for Children, CCC. They focus on child abuse prevention. They also offer some in-home services that we can refer to because they actually cannot have a CPS case to have these in-home services. And I've got Susan Lee. She's over several regions, but anywhere you are, she could point you into the right direction of the person who would be in charge of your regional CCC. So I've included her email address on there if you're interested in getting on that group. They also offer a lot of like trainings that we could use or apply to get hours for.
And then finally, we listed our multidisciplinary team. That's our meetings with DCBS, CPS. But again, it's a time for local law enforcement, school people, our guidance counselors attend, our court system, 7 counties. They are usually at the table just to kind of come together, make sure that there aren't any gaps in the services needed by some of our families that are just in crisis during this time.
And that is actually, in those meetings is the time that CPS can share more freely than they would normally be able to. So that's another advantage of it. So that's all we have. So I'm going to click off of our presentation. All right. Stop sharing the screen. Okay.
I just want to say thank you guys for joining us. We always love to steal or share ideas. So if you guys have some, we look forward to hearing from ideas from you guys too. You may have noticed a lot of these ideas came from other places, and that's because we visit them and yeah, we grab them. So again, thank you guys. Hope you all take care.
Lindsey, Vonda, thank you. That was great. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat box. We don't have very much time for breakouts, but I do have a quick poll for everybody for what time we do have. So we had 2 breakouts that were mentioned before. One had to do around holiday planning. It would be a little bit of a springboard about what Lindsey and Vonda were just sharing. And the other one is you're a frisk when, which might be a lighthearted and fun way to end today's session. So go ahead quickly and vote, and we will spend our remaining 5 or 6 minutes together in quick breakouts. Comments as we're doing the poll. Carol Keys says she's going to be using some of your ideas. Thanks so much for sharing. Great job. You make it look easy. but we know it's a lot of hard work. You ladies are amazing. Thanks for sharing. We did have some people who had to sneak away during the presentation, and they private messaged me that they really appreciated what you all were sharing. So that's great. Okay, so on a score, if you want to vote, poll's about to close in about, we'll say about 10 seconds. So, and we will do a quick breakout. All right, everybody. It looks like holiday planning is going to be the winner. So let me end that and share it. Although the come back to Fall Institute, because we'll definitely be sliding in the You Know You're a Frisk When, so you can all share some humorous stories in that way. Okay, so here we go. Your topic.
Do we need to share the exit slip first, Greg? Sorry.
Yeah, let's go ahead and slide that in. That would be great. So in the chat, if you haven't already opened it, down at the bottom, hit the little chat bubble and you'll see the chat that has been going on. But before you leave today, if you could please click on that link and just share some quick thoughts with us. And so how are you adjusting your holiday plans to meet the special needs this particular year? What challenges, successes, plans could you share? And with that said, off to the rooms we go.